In the world that we live in, we're often made and forced to make tough decisions. Do we want to watch this type of anime series or this type of anime series? Do we want to watch a cartoon or do we want to watch a movie? Do we want to play a video game or read a book? Okay, well, a majority of people probably should be doing B, but then again, I was the part of people that would be loved to doing A. But I digress. When you want to watch something, you often have a hard time deciding which version you want to watch or what genre or type. This holds true for a tremendous amount of things. While comedies are often good for people to enjoy in private and with other people, they're not something that you want to watch constantly, mostly because you're going to get bored of the same old jokes over and over and over again. A perfect case in point would be watching an entire comedy series constantly, repeatedly, and on an endless loop, and knowing every single part of it, like me in Spaceballs. I can pretty much quote that movie, and that doesn't mean it's not less funny, but it does start to wane after a while. But it's still one of my favorite movies. The same holds true, though, for anime series as well. You could watch one series over and over and over again, only to find out that you're starting to get bored of it, and you could watch another series over and over and over again and never get bored of it. So there is a fine line of a difference, but you still have to make a choice nonetheless. And what does any of this have to do with today's topic? Well, you're going to find out in a moment. But before we go any further, my name's Andrew Rhodes, and welcome to Andrew Reviews. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Manyuu Hikenchou, a requested review from XX Suzuku X7XX on Twitter, also known as Oversizedtitlover here on YouTube. Yes, that's right. He requested that I actually look at a different anime title. However, I didn't have enough information to make a good assessment of that and give it a proper review. In fact, to be anything I thought about doing for it was gonna feel half-assed. So he came up with this one instead. And in all honesty, I'm fine with this one. I know Manyuu Hikenchou. I watched Manyuu Hikenchou, the entire series. I've even read some of the manga that was translated into English. So I do know enough of it to give a decent review of it. And with the wonderful help of Wikipedia at my side and the internet by my back, I can pretty much take care of any of the little plot holes and potholes along the way. But before I go any further, I do have to state this. This series is designed for higher age groups, like 16 and higher, due to the fact that there is some partial nudity in this. Because of this, I will not be showing any pictures. Sorry everybody. For those of you that want to see anything, I recommend checking out the series itself, which you can find on Hulu, Crunchyroll, pretty much any legal anime site. You can easily find it. There's clips of it on YouTube even, I'm pretty sure. You can find it online to check it out. But just be forewarned, it does have some nudity in it. That's why I'm just getting this out there now. If you don't want to listen anymore, that's fine. I don't feel offended by you hitting the back button. The views already counted anyway. But if you do want to know more about my thoughts on this really interesting series, well, stick around. So Manyuu Hikenchou is an anime series based off of a manga series. The manga ran from March 24th, 2007 until January 25th of 2012. Almost a good 5 years, spanning 7 volumes. Not exactly too bad for a manga series, but I'm here to talk about the anime series. But I just have to mention this. While manga always comes first when it comes to anime series, because, well, you need something to base it off of, you will often have something that happens, a divergent path, if you will. For those of you that don't know what I mean, think of a manga and an anime series in terms of divergent realities theory, where one thing can be different and change the entire outlook of the other. A perfect example of this would be Full Metal Alchemist. Whereas the original series, not Brotherhood, ran off of the manga up until around volume 9, the rest of the series for the original was completely different because they didn't have enough material to go about it the way they wanted to. Hence, when they did Brotherhood, they were able to make it a little closer to the manga, pretty much almost word for word in a way. And with Manyuu Hikenchou, the anime differs completely from the manga series. Now, for those of you out there that have been able to read the manga, or what little of it is translated into English, I think it's only like maybe 5 chapters, 6 at the most, you're going to notice a major difference between the anime and the manga. That's fine. What you need to know is that the anime series is what I'm going to be talking about today, as the manga series really doesn't have that much that I can talk about, and with it only spanning 7 volumes, and I don't even think all of Volume 1 was even translated, let alone the rest of it, it's kind of difficult to give an accurate assumption and actually even give an accurate review of it, since I literally don't have much to go off of. As for the anime series, however, I got plenty to go off of. Not only is it 12 episodes long, running from July 12th of 2011 to September 27th of the same year, it also had a few OVAs as well. Most of them were just fillers and follow-ups to just pull everything together, or ones that I think were thrown in between episodes to kind of give it a little bit of padding. No, not full filler episodes, but just a nice little tidbit for those that bought the DVDs as they were coming out. Because keep in mind, that's what makes a lot of money for anime sales, are the DVDs. But I digress. So, what is the entire deal with Manyuu Hikenchou? Well, in a land ruled by the Tokugawa Shinogate, big breasts mean everything. So in other words, this world is nothing like ours, I should say. In this world, beauty is everything. If you're flat-chested, you are worthless. If you have breasts, you're somebody. Think of it like the 18th century and possibly even the 17th and 16th century. The higher up the social register you were, the better you were. And the lower you were, well, let's put it this way. There's a reason why they have an old saying about why you throw eggs and rotten fruit at people. I don't want to go into more of it. Anyway, the entire premise of this series is simple. Chifusa Manyuu, the main character, is a tomboyish successor of the Manyuu clan, and an expert samurai. Don't worry, I'll explain that in a moment. She's hot-headed and constantly gets in way over her head. She decided to rebel against the Manyuu clan, I guess you could call them the Manyuu clan, or whoever her adoptive parents were. Well, her adoptive half that she was with, I guess. Let's see here. I think it says it in here. But anyway, she often tries to... Well, what's the word I want to do here? Oh, yes. She did disbehave. Yeah. She rebelled against her family's traditions of the Manyuu clan. So I was right. Okay. She steals the secret scroll which contains techniques on how to enlarge the breasts, which is basically anything you can find in a Google search. For those of you out there that were interested in that, there you go. Literally, you can just Google search half of it. I think somebody did and post the results on a forum I read, so there you go. But anyway, she's aided in her quest by Kaede. Now, this is where the manga differs from the anime. In the manga series, Kaede goes away after chapter 1. But then again, remember, I've only read up to like chapter 5 because that's about all that was translated. So I don't have any more information. She may come back, I don't know. But in the anime series, she's here throughout the whole run of it. Even some of the OVAs, if not all of them. She's pretty much here for the whole run. She's her plucky young assistant. Think of her as Robin to Batman. Or, I don't know, what's another good superhero team? Kato to the Green Hornet. Yeah, that'll work. She's basically loyal to Chifusa in every way, shape, and form. She deserted the Manyuu clan along with her so that they could change the system of the world, which was their entire plan. Well, okay, originally it was Chifusa's plan, but because Kaede got caught up in it, she decided to tag along, mostly because she was afraid that her friend was going to do something stupid and was going to need some help. Yeah, not a bad call on her end. Basically, the entire series revolves around Chifusa trying to usurp the Manyuu clan, trying to change the world. She doesn't want it to be judged by what a woman has up top on her chest, but by their personality, their intelligence, and other factors, not just their looks, which is the way it should be. Now, I can safely say this, Chifusa is one of my favorite characters. Yes, she does have a nice chest. I'm a guy. I will come right out and admit that any day of the week. I am attracted to boobs. I am. Sue me. It's true. But when it comes to Chifusa, she's not just that. It's sort of the same reason why I like Chiharu Shinonome from Aiken. Basically, that was the first the first real anime manga character that I ever really kind of had a crush on. Okay, if you don't count Ori from Eyes, but yeah, actually, I think I had. Did I have Eyes? I think I had Eyes before that. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject here. Chifusa is one of my favorite characters in this, if not my favorite character in this, for multiple reasons. One, she's kind-hearted. She's willing to literally give every single cent she owns to a little kid in the second episode because the kid's poor and the mom's basically penniless, even at the cost of her not being able to buy food or have lodging for the night. At the same time, she's protective of people, as seen in the episode with the divers on the cliffside. She was willing to sacrifice herself, knowing what was going to happen if she used her special technique to defeat the octopus that was holding the one person named Oso. And for those of you out there wondering, what's the whole gimmick of this series? Well, I'm glad you asked. Chifusa is a swordsman, an expert samurai. She has the technique known as the Chichi Nagari, or breast flow technique. What that basically does is it absorbs one person's chest and adds it to hers, though she can't control it at first, and she never technically learns to control it throughout the series. Sorry, Oversizedtitlover, but she doesn't. The whole thing is she temporarily controls it by a fluke. If she could have controlled it, then when she tried to give her her half-sister and Kaede back their bodies, it wouldn't have failed. Needless to say, she can't control it. Hence why Season 2 would be greatly welcomed. Yeah. Anyway, the series goes on a tremendous amount of interesting plot turns. From cliffside divers to another samurai that kind of follows her to an assassin that wants to kill her. Her half-sister becomes her, I want to say, companion and helps her to fight against the Manyus after realizing that she was right all along, to finding the last remnants of her actual heritage. Yeah, it's the whole thing there. It's actually kind of funny. There are scenes, though, that kind of get a little, I want to say, weird, strange, unusual. Screw it. All the above. And that's basically when she's forced to do things she really doesn't want to do. As I said, this entire world revolves around the beauty of women. That basically means that if they're large in the chest, they're highly sought after for a multitude of jobs, like innkeepers, maids, anything of the sort, servers, things like that. The reason for that is because, well, you can figure it out. I'm not going to go into reasons for it here. Anyway, Chifusa is trying her damnedest to get through everyday life while trying to usurp the Manyuu clan. Her plan, I can't really figure out what it was originally. She just wanted to travel the world. Then all of a sudden it became, I must master this technique, to where it looked like she mastered it, but she hasn't. Sorry. She really hasn't. It was a simple fluke in the final episode that she managed to get it. Apparently, to get it, she has to have a mother's heart. Now, for those of you wondering what that basically means, well, it's not really something that I can explain. Ask your moms. Anyway, she basically doesn't master it but tries to, and that's where the series pretty much ends. On a, I want to say, cliffhanger and definite wanting a continuation. The series as itself does do a good job of explaining the characters, giving them some backstory. Even the assassin that's been trying to kill her since, I want to say, episode 6, maybe 7. She's been wanting to kill her, and believe it or not, it's actually quite interesting. I mean, seriously. It's just really good. But the problem is that we end up having the cliffhanger. Now, most of the story does revolve around the entire breast flow technique, or the Chichinagiri, which is fine. It's the entire gimmick of this. I don't have a problem with a series that has a gimmick and that follows through with it every single episode. Sort of like Naruto with his Believe It, that got annoying very fast, but this case not as annoying as that. Although she doesn't actually use it constantly. At episode 6, she kind of learns how to not absorb it anymore. Yeah, literally. She pretty much stops absorbing. I can't really explain how or why. It was some touchy moment where her and her sister Kagefusa, her half-sister Kagefusa, kind of finished this little ritual, and she realizes that the world shouldn't be the way it is, which is the way she kind of felt to begin with, and yeah, pointless episode. 12 episodes long, the series itself is actually good. I will say this though, it does stretch it out a little bit. The OVAs don't help. Now, the OVAs came out after the entire series ended, and there's a grand total of 8 OVAs total. Now, each one of those, I know for a fact, are out online because that's how I watched them. So, they are out there for the watching. However, like I said, this entire series is more dedicated to an older audience. This isn't something for, like, teenagers. This is definitely a over 18 Ichi type of series. Mostly for the fact that I mentioned before as to why there are no pictures in this video, it's got partial nudity. There you go, folks. I'm sorry. I just gotta stress that point. Look, I understand this may not be for everybody, but it actually is a good show if you look past the obvious imagery. The story and plot are wonderfully made, albeit a little drawn out and dull at certain points, but then again, no story is ever perfect. You show me a perfect story in an anime series, and I'll show you a liar. No series is ever perfect, nor is it ever going to be. There are reasons why some parts are bad and some parts are good. It's an ebb and flow. There's always going to be something that's going to be good and something that's going to be bad, because one thing will be liked by one group and one thing will be liked by another group. So it's pandering to make sure that both sides are happy throughout the entire thing. Though I will say this, the cliffhanger ending still pisses me off. While she actually does attempt to master the technique, which again, she does not master it. If she had mastered it, she would have been able to return her half-sister and her friend's bodies to normal. She did not master it. I don't care what you people say. Otherwise, it's actually a good series, and I actually do like it. Her and Kaede continue their or Kaede, or however you want to pronounce it, continue their journey, and that's where it ends. The 8 OVA episodes, I'm assuming, are supposed to serve as filler, or the explanation of how things continue, but all they kind of do is just whet my appetite for a second season, which we're never going to get. This almost smells like Media Blasters and Bakuman Volume 1 on DVD. Yeah, but happily it's not. The series itself was actually made by a different company. That's right. Studio Hoods Entertainment were the ones that actually created and did this one. So Hoods Entertainment are the ones that are responsible, happily not Media Blasters. Yes, Hoods Entertainment, which I'm pretty sure is known for other things. Yeah, the Quasar Stigmata 2, Mysterious Girlfriend X, basically your standard Ichi series. Yeah, no, seriously, those are like some pretty far out Ichi series. At least some of them are. So, yeah, you have that. But otherwise, Manyuu Hikenchou, like I said, is not a bad series. If you're interested in something that has a decent plot, characters you can actually, I can safely say, follow from start to finish, not to mention kind of get used to, and a setting if you're into samurai and old school Japanese, then yeah, check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a good series. If you're a fan of Icon style stuff, well, this has some decent comedy mixed into it, though it's not as mixed in as you would like it to be. While this series does kind of tend more towards the serious, it does have the light-ended humor to break things up, which I highly thank. Otherwise, it'd be quite boring and, well, dreadful. But otherwise, it's a good series, and I give it a solid 5 out of 5. While the plot does leave a lot to be determined thanks to that cliffhanger ending, it's still a good plot overall. The series itself is wonderful, the characters are great, the execution, not bad. So, 5 out of 5, definitely in my book. Well, that's all the time I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Andrew Reviews.